Analog horror is a guilty pleasure of mine, brother. I have been indulging in the analog horror ever since I was 14 years old with Local 58, okay? And listen, man, watching analog horror go from being like a friend's thing to, I would argue, like the new creepypasta. I think it was creepypasta, probably No Sleep at the same time, and then it kind of went dormant, and then it became analog horror. Like, I think analog horror has been around for longer than people think, but definitely now it has become the new scary videos on the internet. Everything from Mandela Catalogue, the Boiled One phenomenon, and the Angel Engine, which is just to name a few. I know Angel Engine's relatively new, but I want to talk about analog horrors today. And this isn't going to be like other videos where I've made where I rank them on how well I think they're made, how well I think they're produced. No, just very simply, how much did they scare me? Okay, how much was I legitimately traumatized by watching some of these? Brother, I remember watching Local 58 when I was 14 and legitimately tweaking because of one scene that's in it. And we'll get to that in a second. But dude, I like feeling spooky. And I get to see what some of you guys watch. Now, YouTube gives me that in my analytics. And you guys have been feeling something spooky too, if I'm reading them correctly. We are going to be going through analog horrors, and I'm ranking them on just how scary they are. And yeah. That's how simple we're doing it. If that sounds good to you, please consider like, comment, and subscribe. Let's try to get the 5K likes on this video, and let's try to get to 250,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Understand this, we started out at 74,000 subscribers at the beginning of the year. We're now at 200,000, so I think we'll hit 250. So the goal is 500,000 before the release of GTA 6. That is the goal. And with all that out of the way, let's get into ranking analog horrors on how scary I think they are. Let's go. Woodlands National Park. Let me tell you something. Okay, I have a little phobia, and that phobia is I really don't want to get lost in a forest. I don't know, bro. I don't know if I've covered 411 phenomena on this channel, and that might be a little dedicated video that we can do. But the idea that you can go missing in the national parks, and it'll be some of the most inexplicable ways of going missing. And after you go missing, they just give up. They just immediately are like, nah, bro, the ghost of National Parks past got his ass. We ain't ever seen him. Oh, yeah, we did. 20 miles in the opposite direction on the top of a mountain. How did he get to the top of the mountain? We don't know. It was actually impossible. So how did he get there? I don't know. I'm sorry. Stuff like that? Absolutely not, okay? And Woodlands National Park taps into that fear that I have latent inside of me. And it's very good. So imagine this. There's a national park. There are containing cryptids. They have everything from wendigos, tall walkers, and my personal favorite, the cave critter. You see, the cave critter is this little goblin spider creature that lives inside of the caves at Woodlands National Park, that if they bite you, you have a 45 chance of, I think it's a 40% chance of dying, 40% chance of turning into a cave critter, and a 10% chance of being okay. I think I did the math wrong on that, but I'm going off of memory right now. Okay? Yeah, no, that cave critter's probably my favorite creature in there, and I think that one inspired the most fear. No, the tall walker one. I don't know about, like, if you ever been out camping, you know weird stuff happens because the forest is weird. It is the original backrooms. Okay, and the idea, I think we've all had like a walkie-talkie out in the middle of the forest that just turns on, gets a little staticky, and then cuts out. Imagine there being a creature that when you hear static on a radio, that is a sign that it's coming closer. No, that taps into a latent fear of mine that I forgot that I had. It's very well made. It has a really good segment where there's like a body cam and they're hunting down wendigos, and it's like pretty well done. I'm a big fan of it. It's probably one of my personal favorite. In terms of scary, I think it's a perfect middle-of-the-road scary. I watched it later on in life. I think I watched it like for the first time 2 years ago. And Woodlands National Park, I think I have to put it in, I think it's a good middle-of-the-line scary, a good one that I would give somebody that has never seen an analog horror. Very easy to get into, pretty straightforward storytelling, putting it in scary. Local 58. Okay, brother, Local 58. It haunted me as a kid. I remember watching Local 58 at 14 years old And I think I learned about it from a MatPat video where he was breaking it down. This was during the prime of MatPat, by the way, okay? OG film theory and game theory. And I remember watching that thinking, okay, I'm going to go watch Local 58 now. And I remember, like, the first episode is a emergency broadcast. Don't go outside and don't stay away from windows and don't look at the moon. And then it gets hijacked again and they tell you, it's all clear outside. Look at the moon. Gaze upon her in her throne. No! But I think the scariest part of it, 100%, was there's a scene inside of Local 58 where they like look at the moon and you find out the moon is actually an egg for like a literal Eldritch Lovecraftian abomination. And the design is perfect. And I don't know what they're doing lately with Local 58. I haven't seen it in a minute. But I would put Local 58 pure off like scare value that I got hit with. I would put it in very scary. I have to put it in very scary. Angel Ensign. Angel Ensign's the new kid on the block. I see it more on like TikTok and like YouTube Shorts. And I'm going to be honest with you, that is an untapped market for analog horror. I've been seeing more of it on my For You page. But 100% continue what you're doing, okay? The story goes from... What's the best way to describe it? Imagine that... Where do I begin? Because we're dealing with like high heaven. We're dealing with like apocalypses. Okay. The first video was talking about how to summon an angel. And basically how to summon an angel is where we're going right now. Wars, conflicts, pollution, destroy the environment. And then an archangel will come down. And then in the story, they capture an archangel and make an angel engine where they strip the like angelic powers off of an angel and use it to power humanity. And... it goes pretty crazy pretty quickly. They made their own version of an angel, and I think it's meant to be the Antichrist. There's the devil. There's Uriel. There's a whole lot. There's a whole lot going on. But I think one of my favorite parts of it is this constant score or like music that's going on the entire time, and it's like delivered to you in a cadence that's like boom, boom. Like I don't know, the tone and the cadence of Angel Engine actually contributes to the scare because it's constantly building up that tension. The only thing that's honestly limiting it is the fact that it's a sort, but not all of them are sorts, but like that is the only thing that's frankly limiting it. I'm going to put it in scary. I think it's a little bit scarier than Woodlands National Park because I think Angel Engine is admittedly playing with some darker themes. Like you're doing Damnation, Hellfire, Woodlands National Park. Freddy got eaten by a Wendigo. I'm sorry, like there's different levels to what we can do. Mandela Catalogue. Mandela Catalogue is probably my favorite or second favorite analog horror there is. I would put it up there. I think I would have to put it up there. Okay, when we're looking at Mandela Catalogue, where do I begin? So it takes place in this place called Mandela County, and there's these creatures called alternates, and they'll come up to you, try to look like you, they look cursed and demonic, and then they try to abduct you and replace you. Okay? And that's simple enough. Until you find out that the alternates are actually demons from hell, and they're trying to replace humanity so they can, overtake them. And I think that plays into a little bit more like how scary it is. There's one scene that I think is real freaky outside of, I think it's the first episode where they're like looking through footage and they're like looking at like this home invasion he's going in. And it's like I'm getting goosebumps like describing it because one thing I think is like untapped in analog horror is like, I think you could play more with police stuff. I think you could do more with body cams, 911 calls. I think there's a lot more that you could do with that's inherently analog that I think they could do a little bit more with, but what they do with like police phone calls is so effective that I'm like, yes, give me more of this. Okay? The idea that the devil came in and imitated Gabriel and basically basically took over all of like the Abrahamic phase of Christianity, all of them, and is taking humanity down like this dark age. Like all religions that you're praying to is actually to the devil. Like it's a different level of dread that it's instilling, that it has this constant angle of like there is no safety here, for it took the safety away from you. And I dig that, and I have to put it in very scary. The Boiled One phenomenon. Ooh. I'm gonna be real, this one might be one of the scariest ones I've seen. Like, in terms of, like, I watched it when I was grown. Okay, and it's made by somebody called Dr. Nowhere. We're going to be covering another monster that they created. But when we're looking at the boiled one phenomenon, okay, first off, it's 10 minutes of straight gas, bro. The first frame that you see is a blue screen with white writing. Oh yeah, hey, what we're going to be showing you is, it's a cognito hazard, and it might make you see demons. And if you feel like you're not alone, I need you to recite Bible verses and think holy thoughts. If the non-holy thoughts continue, you are lost. No. Brother, no. Absolutely not. That's such an effective way to, like, set the standard. There's a rerun of old episodes of a canceled TV show and a forgotten 13 episode. It airs. People are watching it. And then this demonic thing shows up and speaks to them. And then all of a sudden they go into these catatonic states where they wake up but in sleep paralysis and they can only communicate through blinks. Brother, that, like, he's over here stacking fears like it's a sandwich, dude. Like, all of that hitting you at once, a cognito hazard, the fact that they had to cause a blackout in 2003 to deal with it, which actually happened, by the way, so it plays with, like, some real stuff that happened. Everything all together, I have to put it in traumatizing. It is that good. In terms of how scary it is, I would actually put it traumatizing, top tier. Vita Carnis. Ooh, there's going to be links to all of these down, by the way. Vita Carnis is probably one of the best there is right now. Like, I would probably say Mandela Catalogue, Greylock, and Vita Carnis are probably the top 3 right now, okay? And Vita Carnis, here's the thing. The world building that it does take away from the horror a little bit because you understand that society is operating with these flesh creatures. And for anyone who doesn't know what it is out of nowhere, these flesh monsters spawned in. They're not aliens. I think they're like extra dimensional deities or like, what's the word? Not demons, entities. I think they're like extra dimensional. They came from a different universe and they coexist along with humanity. And they're basically us, but without skin. You have everything from flesh vines to mimics. And the mimics are definitely the scariest part. The fact, I like the idea that there's like humanity and then humanity has a predator and the predator mimics humans. I think mimicry is a big untapped thing when it comes to like analog horror. And I know somebody's going to say, what do you mean? Mimicry's pretty popular. Yeah, no, it's popular in all of the big ones. Mimicry, I think, is something we inherently are freaked out by, and I think that taps into, like, Uncanny Valley. And I'm going to put, like, Vita Carnis, in terms of how scary it is, I'm going to put it at the same level of, like, Woodlands National Park. I think Woodlands National Park is a valid place to put it, if I'm being honest. The Obelisk. Now, I watched this one on YouTube video, so if you actually want to check that one out, check the channel, okay? And the Obelisk is also a creature that's made, if I'm correct, it's made by Dr. Nowhere, and it would make sense. I'm sorry, like, if I had to give him anything, his character design, his monster design is so good. He's so good at it, dude. Everything he makes is haunting. And when I'm looking at this thing, a little bit of a lore dump. So it is implied that there was a deal that was made with the devil, and this thing either eats babies or is a demonic baby. I don't know what that is. That adds a little bit more freaky to it, like little deals with the devil that didn't go good. And I'm like, brother, what deals with the devil did go good? That would be my argument to that. But then you get like this clown jester type of demonic creature. Oh my goodness. Like, it scared me quite a bit. You can watch my jump scare. That's why I'm not getting super into explaining it. But like in terms of how it looks, how it performs as a scare, I have to put it in scary, dude. I have to put it in scary next to Angel Engine. Monument Mythos. I'm gonna sound like a hater, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Monument Mythos, I just don't find it scary. I just don't, like, not at all. Like, it's analog horror, but it's like almost analog thriller. Like, that's the best way that I can describe it. Like, it goes too out that I'm like, what's going on? Like, it starts out as, like, this slight multi-dimensional secret trees type of thing. And then we're looking at, oh, yeah, there's a creature that is a multiversal version of George Washington. And Nixon had a multiversal presidential election. Brother, what? Like, that's the best way that I can describe it. Like, it goes so far out there that my fear is over here. And where the story is out here, and I'm over here like, what the fuck is going on? That is the actual Monument Mythos experience watching it. It's scary at points, but I just put it in meh in terms of scary. I like it. I really do. I think it's up there. In terms of scary, it's just not that scary, in my opinion. The Painter. Ooh. Okay, understand this. I was roasting the painter quite a bit. I've roasted it. I think it relies too much on sock horror. I think it takes a lot of, like, what you would use to build tension, and it just turns that into sock value after sock value. And it does a lot of that. But what the painter does well, it does very well. And that is the imagery, I think, is really good. And I think the 911 calls they do are amazing. The only few scary parts of the painter that I think are its best parts is what I would call its like mid-season finale, and that was the 911 call where it's like you're literally hearing the death as it's happening. Oh, it hits. And probably the best episode of the full thing, the body cam. When like the body cam episode is so effective at what it does as a series wrap up. Does it feel quick? Yes, but it also feels like, oh yeah, this is what I needed. The problem is you can't have two good episodes and I automatically put you in very scary. I'll put it in scary, and I'm going to move up. Actually, you know what? No. I think we can actually keep everything here. I think this is actually valid. Angel Hare. I don't think Angel Hare's analog horror. And this is actually partly the reason that I'm making the video, because I want to clarify this. Because I was watching Angel Hare, and I made it 2 seasons in. Okay, we're going into a 3rd season. And there is literally no horror. I watched 2 episodes of a series, and there's almost no horror. And for anyone who doesn't know what Angel Hare is, what basically it is that angels are communicating to children that need angels in their life through kids' TV and video games. And this guy remembers a canceled TV show, so he's able to find it. And then he's talking to this angel from his childhood. And then he uses this angel to like help other kids and help other angels. And the angels can help their kids. Like, I mean by their kids, not their literal kids, but like other kids across the globe. And it's like real wholesome. It's like a scarier version of VeggieTales. And I'm expecting it to get scary. I'm expecting the demons to come in. It just never happens. It literally just never happens. There's nothing scary. There's more morals to the story than there is scary, to the point where I'm just going to put it, scary question mark. Like, is it meant to be scary or is it not? It's good. It's very well made. It's hell of a boss is scarier than this. And I mean that. Respectfully, I do mean that. I like it. It's not scary. The Oldest View. Woo! Dude, The Oldest View takes everything that the Backrooms had and actually makes it a little bit scary. I'll be honest with you. The Backrooms stuff, like the Backrooms analog horror series that Kane Pixels did, the only thing that limits it is the fact that it's it's talking about the Backrooms. The Backrooms, I've borderline been memeified to the point where it actually hurts the horror aspect to it. And this is what I mean. If you try to watch the Marble Hornets now, and dude, it's still going on. They're still doing Marble Hornets. Wrap that shit up, dude. If you're watching Marble Hornets now, the Slenderman like web series, it actually low-key kind of hurts it a little bit because you know Slenderman too much. And the Rule 34 art of Slenderman actually takes it out. It completely takes it. Like, you look at it like, but brother, it's Slenderman. Chill out a little bit, okay? And that's where the Backrooms kind of loses it for me. But The Oldest View has all of the pros of Backrooms, but in a fresh setting. Imagine you're walking through the forest and there's a hole in the ground and it's 2 big-ass flight of stairs leading to a super mall. And then you go into the mall because you deserve death. You could not pay me enough to go down them stairs. And you see this float coming at you. And I'm going to be real here. Even if the float comes after you, what was the float actually going to do? Like, that's one thing that did bother me. What is the float actually going to do? Like, run him over? Turn him into a float? I don't know. Do I understand what's going on in The Oldest View? No. It is way too abstract for me, I'll just be honest with you. I understand fear, though, and it did scare me. I'm going to put it right there. Midwest Angelica. Midwest Angelica is really good. I gotta preface, this is just me ranking them on how scary I found them. Midwest Angelica is like an analog horror of the flood. And I do mean that, okay? Imagine if this hive mind flesh entity came down to Earth and was called Starkill and assimilated biomass, and then we had to actually take care of it like we would take care of the flood. Okay? The scariest part of it, is the fact that this, like, flood-type entity called Starkill is communing with people on Earth psionically and convincing them that it's the second coming of the Archangel Azazel, bringer of knowledge. So they're preparing themselves for its arrival, and then all of the cultists assimilate biomass and become a bone chapel. That is so metal and so cool, but that is literally the scariest part of it. It's good, but the scale is up here. I need, like, it loses it a little bit, okay? There's aura, but I'm putting it in Meh. I would put it in the same, I think Midwest Angelica's better. I do think Midwest Angelica's better than Monument Mythos. But in terms of how scary it is, it's just not that scary. It is fun to watch, though. Greylock, ooh. It's between Greylock and Mandela Catalogue for my favorite analog horror series. But when we're looking at Greylock, like, everything that Greylock does over a series is so effective in building up tension and getting you that payoff. And it's dealing with themes that are so up here, but it pulls it off and keeps the scary. The best episode of the entire thing, and I'll give you the brief synopsis, okay? Imagine if the U.S. government was working on making manifesting army, like army men, okay? So they put you in a thought form maker, and it takes whatever you're thinking of and makes it a reality, and people started generating demons. Now, that same metric of belief also applies to God, so if enough people believe in a God, it becomes real. And now imagine if that God was forgotten and buried underneath a mountain, Mount Greylock. And that is basically the plot synopsis of what's going on, okay? And my favorite episode, and easily the scariest one, is the episode with the miners, bro. It takes place over a mining excavation. They're going down and they're seeing like these old Native American artifacts of a forgotten god. And oh my gosh, dude, that would be the freakiest thing. Imagine you're going into a cave that you think nobody's ever been in, and the first thing that you see is an altar to a forgotten deity. Absolutely not, brother. I am praying and I'm walking backwards so nothing can sneak up on me, dude. Huck that, dude. In terms of scary, I'm going to be real. I remember watching the Miners episode as I was going to bed and legitimately like woke back up, saw it, and said to myself, you know what? I'm going to go watch some Rick and Morty to cleanse my mind of this because of how bad it's got me. The Miners episode will get you. I have to do it there. I have to put it in traumatizing. I just do. And there you go. That is me ranking analog horrors on just how much they have scared me. I've done a few analog horror videos in the past. I think I already said that in the intro. But I wanted to do something as like a little part of the 5-day celebration of reaching 200,000 subscribers. We'll do something crazy for 500,000. Okay, if you enjoyed the video, please consider like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to get to 250,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and I think we're going to be able to do it with the support of you guys. And if we do, let's try to hit 500,000 before the release of GTA 6. And again, your support means the most. Try to get this to 5,000 likes, and with all that out of the way, I hope to see you in the next video. Adios, guys.